the art of being alone, a journey of self-discovery and our journey through life. We encounter an idea that is, at the same time, simple and profound: the importance of balancing solitude and company. Have you ever stopped to think about what it means to be truly alone, or the impact that the people around you have on your journey? Today, I want to invite you to reflect on these questions, to delve into the beauty of finding peace in your own company, and to discover how this can transform the way you connect with the world. Let's explore together the power of solitude and how it prepares us for richer, more meaningful relationships. Ready for this adventure? Loneliness and company, two sides of the same quinimagine life as one big journey. Sometimes you embark on short, light journeys where walking alone seems the most natural choice. At these times, solitude is like a pair of comfortable shoes. It gives you freedom, lightness, space to think and feel without rushing. But when the path becomes long, full of curves and challenges, the company of others can be a gift. Walking side by side with someone united by a common purpose brings strength, support, a sense of belonging. But here comes the question that really matters: who is by your side on this journey? Not all company is good. Times being with others can be heavy, like carrying a backpack full of rocks. That's why it's so important to choose carefully who accompanies us. And more than that, remember an essential truth: we come to this world alone, and in the end, we leave alone. This idea may seem lonely at first glance, but it holds a powerful secret. Learning to be comfortable in your own company is the key to living more harmoniously, both alone and with others. Have you ever thought about what it means for you to be truly comfortable with yourself? The art of being alone is not just being without anyone around. It's a conscious choice, a moment of deep connection with yourself. In a world full of noise, notifications, and rush, taking time for solitude is almost an act of courage. It's like entering a sanctuary where you can hear the whispers of your soul, far from the distractions of everyday life. What if, instead of dreading these moments, you embrace them as an opportunity to get to know yourself better? Being human means having this incredible ability to simply to be, to exist without the constant need to do, achieve, or prove something. Unlike other beings who act on instinct, we can stop, reflect, choose with intention. But when we are in a group, it is not always easy to maintain this clarity. Sometimes collective energy drags us, and we end up acting on impulse, following the current without thinking. Have you ever noticed how, in a crowd, you can feel more lost than ever? It is in solitude that we recover this essence. When we sit in silence, without the pressure to react or perform, we begin to paint the picture of our own existence. Each of us is a unique work, made of experiences, dreams, fears, and aspirations. And it is in moments of being alone that we give shape to this work with bright colors and authentic lines. Have you ever taken the time to listen to yourself, to discover what really pulses inside you? The transformative power of solitude. The idea of being alone may seem strange in such a connected world, where we are always just a click away from someone. But solitude is not isolation. It is a journey of self-discovery. Think of it as a journey within yourself. By disconnecting from the external noise, you find a mirror that reflects who you really are, without masks or social roles. It is in this space that you begin to understand your emotions, your desires, your values. When we are alone, away from the opinions of others, we can see life more clearly. It's as if the fog dissipates, revealing the path that has always been. There, in this silence, you hear that inner voice that is often drowned out by the chaos of the world. Have you ever had a moment when you were alone, you felt a clarity that seemed to come from somewhere else? This is the wisdom that solitude awakens. Planting seeds of reflection. Solitude is like a garden where we plant the seeds of self-reflection. With patience and care, these seeds grow into profound insights. When you take time to think about your experiences, you begin to notice patterns. Why do you react a certain way in some situations? What makes you feel fear or joy? What dreams move your heart? These questions don't have quick answers, but in the stillness, they begin to reveal themselves. This process is not about judging yourself, but about embracing who you are, with all your strengths and weaknesses. It's like watering a plant. You don't force growth, you just create the conditions for it to happen. And as this inner garden blooms, you feel more connected to yourself, more whole. Have you ever tried writing your thoughts or meditating in silence? What did you discover about yourself in those moments? Facing your selfing alone also means facing what's deepest within us, and that's not always easy. Without the distractions of the world, you may find yourself faced with insecurities, doubts, even fears that you would rather avoid. But here's the beauty. When you bravely look at these shadows, you realize they don't have as much power as they seem. They are like dark clouds that pass by, revealing the brightness of the sky. This confrontation with the self is a pilgrimage to the center of your existence. It's where you take off the masks you wear on a daily basis and find the truest version of yourself. It's not about becoming perfect, but about accepting that you are a work in progress, always evolving. Have you ever had a time when facing the truth about yourself brought you relief, even if it was difficult? How has this changed your way of living? The freedom to be your best company when we learn to enjoy our own company. Something magical happens. We become our own best friends. This doesn't mean we'll never feel loneliness. It's part of the human experience. But solitude teaches us to be kind to ourselves, to forgive our mistakes, to celebrate our victories, big or small. It's an act of self-love, of recognizing that you are enough exactly as you are. In the process, you also find the courage to face those parts of yourself that you might prefer to ignore. The insecurities, the regrets, the what-ifs that haunt the mind. When you illuminate these shadows with the light of awareness, you see that they do not define who you are. They're just parts of your story, not the whole. Have you ever thought about how liberating it would be to accept yourself completely with all your imperfections? The connection with the whole, as paradoxical as it may seem, it is in solitude that we discover our connection with the world. When we get to know ourselves better, we realize that our personal journey is intertwined with everyone else's. Every step we take towards self-knowledge contributes to the greater good, like a wave spreading across the ocean. By taking care of yourself, you create space to be more present, more empathetic, more truthful in your relationships, in the stillness. We also begin to hear the rhythms of the universe, the sound of the wind, the beat of your own heart, the energy that connects everything that exists. It's as if, when you connect with yourself, you connect with something much bigger. Have you ever felt, in a silent moment, that you were part of something immense, something that transcends you? Silence as a sacred pause in the midst of a world that never stops talking. Silence becomes a rare gift. It's not just the absence of noise, but a sacred pause, a moment to reconnect with what really matters. When you allow yourself to be silent, you begin to notice things that the noise of everyday life usually drowns out. It's like adjusting the focus of a camera. Suddenly, everything becomes sharper, more alive. Have you ever noticed how, in moments of stillness, you feel the world differently? This silence is not empty, it's full of life. It's where you can hear the rhythm of your breathing, the echo of your thoughts, even the dreams that lie dormant in your heart. In solitude, silence becomes a mirror, reflecting not only who you are, but who you can become, and the most beautiful. You don't need to do anything to access this magic. Just stop, breathe, be present. How about today, taking a few minutes to be silent? What do you think you could discover? Dreaming With Claire Tiana, the gift of solitude is the space it creates to dream. When we are alone, away from the expectations of others, we can imagine a life that truly resonates with our deepest desires. It's like having a blank canvas and a brush in your hand. You decide the colors, the lines, the story you want to tell. Without the weight of other people's opinions, you begin to see possibilities that previously seemed out of reach. Think about your dreams, not the big plans you feel you should have, those quiet desires that emerge when no one is looking. Maybe it's traveling to a new place, learning something that has always fascinated you, or simply living more lightly. In solitude, you can explore these dreams without fear of judgment, giving them space to grow. When was the last time you allowed yourself to dream without limits? What did you see in this vision? More authentic relationships, a secret that solitude teaches us. The more comfortable you are with yourself, the more genuine your connections with others become. It seems contradictory, right? After all, being alone should separate us from people, right? But it's exactly the opposite. When you truly know yourself, when you learn to love your own company, you bring this authenticity to your relationships. It's like bringing your own light to the table, rather than waiting for others to light your way. Have you ever noticed how the best conversations happen when people are actually present? When you are comfortable with yourself, you can truly listen without the need to impress or control the situation. You become more empathetic, more open, more capable of creating bonds based on respect and honesty. Think about an important relationship in your life. What would it be like if you brought more of you, the real you, to this bond? Emotional intelligence. The bridge to the other solitude is also fertile ground for cultivating emotional intelligence. When we spend time alone, we begin to better understand our emotions. What motivates us, what hurts us, what makes us shine. This clarity helps us to recognize the emotions of others, to see beyond words and perceive what is behind a look or a silence. It's like learning to read a universal language, the language of the heart. With this skill, you create safe spaces for others to open up. Have you ever had a moment when someone told you something profound because they felt like you were really there, listening? This is the magic of presence that solitude helps you develop. And at the same time, you learn to recognize when a relationship isn't doing you any good, when it's time to set limits or move on. Solitude gives you this clarity, this courage to choose what nourishes your soul, the impact of your journey. Beauty of being alone doesn't stop with you, it spreads. When you become more aware, more present, more true to yourself, it reflects on everything around you. Your calmness can calm others. Your authenticity can inspire someone to be more truthful. Every step you take towards self-knowledge is like throwing a stone into a lake. The waves go far, touching people you can't even imagine. Think about it. What if, by taking care of yourself, you are helping to create a more connected, more compassionate world? Every moment you spend getting to know yourself better is a gift, not only for you, but for everyone who crosses your path. Have you ever felt the impact of someone whose presence made you want to be a better version of yourself? How can you be that person for others? The courage to be vulnerable being alone requires courage, because it means facing yourself without filters. It's looking in the mirror and accepting everything, the parts you love and the parts you might want to hide. But this vulnerability is where transformation happens. By embracing your imperfections, you discover that they do not diminish you. They make you human, unique, real. This acceptance also frees you from the need for external validation. You stop looking for approval from others because you have already found a home within yourself. And when that happens, you start to live lighter, more joyful. Have you ever had a moment when accepting yourself as you are brought you a feeling of freedom? How has this changed your way of being in the world? The wisdom of imperfection silent also teaches us to embrace imperfection. not just our own, but that of everything around us. In a world that values perfection, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting everything to be impeccable. Our appearance, our work, our relationships, but life doesn't work like that. It is full of flaws, surprises, moments that don't go as planned. And in solitude, you begin to see that this is what makes life so rich. Think of a song you love. Sometimes it's the unexpected notes, the imperfect chords that make it special. Life is like that. When we stop demanding that everything be perfect, we begin to find beauty in the details, in a friend's crooked smile, in the coffee that went cold, in the rain that changed your plans. Have you ever found joy in something that, at first glance, seemed wrong? How did this transform your day? A new look at connection ultimately. Solitude prepares us for deeper connections. When you are at peace with yourself, you don't look for something in others that you lack. Instead, you offer your presence, your truth, your ability to love without conditions. These are the relationships that really matter, the ones that grow on the basis of trust, empathy, and mutual respect. Imagine what it would be like if, in your next interactions, you arrived with an open heart, no expectations, just present. How could this change the way you relate to people? Solitude gives you this gift, the clarity to build bonds that not only sustain you, but also elevate you. The daily practice of solitude is so. How to bring solitude into everyday life. There's no need for big gestures. Small moments make a difference. Try setting aside 5 minutes in the morning to be silent, just breathing and observing your thoughts, or during a walk, turn off your cell phone and pay attention to the sounds around you. Bird song, leaves rustling, the rhythm of your steps. These moments of pause are like seeds that over time blossom into a more conscious life. Another simple practice is writing. Take a notebook and write down what you feel, what you dream, what moves you. It doesn't have to be perfect. The important thing is to let the words flow. This dialogue with yourself can reveal truths that you didn't even know were there. Have you tried putting your thoughts on paper? What did you learn from this? Anna's story, a living exemplar to make this more real. I want to share the story of Anna, a friend of my family. At age 60, Anna experienced a loss that shook her world. She found herself alone for the first time in decades, and at first, the silence in the house was almost unbearable. But instead of running away, Anna decided to embrace solitude. She began painting, something she hadn't done since her youth, and spending afternoons in the garden, listening to the wind and writing about her feelings. Over time, Anna discovered a strength she didn't know she had. She found joy in the little things, the texture of a petal, the smell of wet earth, the freedom to create without waiting for approval. And when he reconnected with others, he brought a new version of himself, more present, more authentic, more alive. Ina's story reminds me that solitude is not an end, but a beginning. Have you ever met someone who turned loneliness into growth? What did this person teach you? Solitude as a bridge to love of solitude also teaches us to love first, ourselves, then others. When you accept yourself with all your lights and shadows, you begin to see others with more compassion. You realize that, just like you, each person carries their own story, their fears, their dreams. Empathy creates stronger, truer bonds. Think about a relationship that marked you. Maybe it was a friend who listened to you without judging, a relative who supported you during a difficult time, or even a stranger who offered you a gesture of kindness. These moments of connection are born from presence, from the ability to really be there. And solitude is what prepares us to offer this presence. How can you bring more love and attention into your relationships today? The balance between being alone and being together in the end. Life is a dance between being alone and being together. Solitude gives us roots. the strength to be whole on our own. Company gives us wings, the chance to share, learn, grow with others. Neither is better or worse. They complement each other. The secret is knowing when to walk alone and when to make space for others. Think about your life now. Are there times when you feel like retreating to be with your thoughts, and others where you long for the energy of being with those you love? Honoring these two sides is what brings balance. How can you find this balance in your routine? An invitation for today's before closing. I want to make an invitation to you. Experience solitude today. It doesn't have to be something grand. Maybe it's drinking tea in silence, looking out the window, or walk slowly, feeling the ground beneath your feet. Maybe it's writing a letter to yourself, telling yourself what you most need to hear. The important thing is to give yourself the gift of being present. Every moment you spend with yourself is an opportunity to grow, to know yourself, to love yourself. And in doing so, you not only enrich your own life, but you also light the path for others. So, what are you going to do today to find yourself in solitude? How this small step can transform your journey?